What's up, everyone? This is James Quilty, and welcome back to another episode of The Virtual Network Marketer. So today I wanted to talk about the one thing that is actually going to help to push your business forward, right? A lot of us seem to think that we need to talk to more people, right? But in actuality, it's not about the people, it's about something else. And we're going to get into that in this episode. So let's get to it. Are you a network marketer struggling to build a successful home business? Are you tired of using outdated strategies like online parties, three-way phone calls, and daily DMs with little to no results? That was exactly how I felt, and after years of struggle, I decided to look beyond my upline and find out how other successful people were building their business. My name is James Quilty, and in this podcast, I want to share the proven marketing principles used by top-level entrepreneurs and direct response marketers that work in any business and in any economy. Learn how to leverage technology, social media, and other digital marketing tools to grow your home business, attract more leads, and increase your income. Welcome to the Virtual Network Marketer. So when I first started in network marketing, I thought that, one, I was really attracted to, being able to, make a lot of money with not a lot of experience, right? And it was fascinating to me. And I saw all of these, success stories, which I'm sure, you have as well. And, it got me really excited. And what I started to find was, what I started to think was that, okay, well, network marketing is special. Network marketing is different. And talking to my upline, they would always, say the same thing that, this is a different, type of business. And you need to be a different type of person. This is not like, traditional business. That's what I heard from a lot of my upline. And yes, it does take a special type of person, to be successful in this business. But what I have found over the years is that network marketing is not different. You may get paid differently. There may be a different pay structure, but business is business. It's all the same things, and it runs off of the same principles. And if you want to be successful, then you need to follow what other successful business people are doing, right? And which leads me to the one thing that will determine you being successful or not has nothing to do with the compensation plan, nothing to do with the how many people you talk to, or even if you have like a huge organization, right? Those things, yes, are important, and to have a good product, that is important too. But when we're talking about business, your main goal is to solve your target market's problems. That is all that you need to focus in on. And when you can do that, and when you can master that, that is what's going to determine you being successful, right? And I know a lot of us have been drawn into network marketing because of the hype, and there's nothing wrong with it. And again, there's awesome companies out there. I love it. That's why I'm still doing that. That's why I'm still doing this podcast, is because I want to equip the people that are actually building these businesses in network marketing, do it the right way so they can actually see some success, right? And so what I meant by solving your target market's problems, it's not about you. We have the best products, and we have the Ultra 5000, and we have the best compensation plan. That is all noise, right? Because if the person that you are talking to is a stay-at-home mom who is trying to figure out how to put food on the table because her husband just left her and she's homeschooling her kids, and how is she going to provide? She doesn't care about a compensation plan. She certainly doesn't care about what type of awesome organic ingredients you have in your product. What she cares about is, how am I going to provide for my children? How am I still going to be able to keep them at home and still educate them, right? I don't have the means to be separated from them for 8, 10, 18 hours, whatever that may be, right? That is what she is concerned with. And so us as business owners, it is our job to look at the problems that people are facing and use the opportunity, the business that we have, the products that we have, and to bridge that gap, to show people that we are talking to, how the things that we have can solve their problems. That is what makes you a successful business owner, and that is what makes you a successful network marketer. Not the compensation plan, not the product, not the business, not any of that stuff. Don't buy into the hype, right? Because what that's going to do is it's going to make you think like, oh, this is the best thing. Everybody needs this. And you're going to go out into the marketplace and you're pretty much going to get your face ripped off, as my old sponsor used to say. And the reason for that is because you're going to people and they don't care about what you have. They look, when you do that, you look at like some crazy person. You look like a spammer. You look like a stalker, and they don't want to have anything to do with you. They don't want to have anything to do with any of that stuff. They're focused in on, I got these real issues. Don't come to me with some dumb business opportunity. I don't care, right? You've been doing this for however long. I don't see your life changing, and you get that type of response from people, and it's because we're trying to get them to do something that they do not want to do. Does that make any sense? And I know what your uplines are telling you, and my upline used to tell me this all the time, and it's not their fault. That is the company culture, and of course they want you to get excited about the opportunity, the business, and all that stuff. That's their job. They're supposed to get you excited and hyped up by what you have, right? But as a business owner, listen, here's the big misconception that I learned a while ago when it comes to network marketing, okay? It is not the company's responsibility for you to get leads. It is not the company's responsibility for them to help you grow your business. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and I'm sure a lot of network marketers are going to come at me with pitchforks. But I'm here to tell you that it's not your upline or your company's responsibility to train you and to have training, for you, for your business, right? And what I mean by that is when you enter into a relationship with a company, their job is to provide the legal umbrella, to make sure that all the products are resourced and are put together and manufactured, and to take care of all the distribution and all of that stuff. That's their job. They have created an opportunity for you to make some extra income and some very good income if you can produce and to bring in some profits, right? And your job is to go out and to promote that. And as a business owner, that's what you're responsible. You're responsible for the marketing. You're responsible to learn how to do all of that stuff, right? It's not on the company's shoulders, but if you keep coming at this business from a standpoint that it's always somebody else's responsibility, you're never going to make any traction, and you're never going to make any real money. It's the ones that learn that, okay, I have to find out how to market this thing and do it in a way that pleases people and solves their problems, and then they're going to want to give me their money for whatever I have. Does that make sense? So when you're looking at this business, don't look at it as trying to get somebody in. Look at it from the standpoint of who can I help and what problems do they have, and then be able to bridge that bridge from where they are to where you want to lead them to, is to your product and opportunity, because it is a good fit and it's going to solve their problems, right? I love using this example of if so my wife and I, we are plant-based, and occasionally we'll eat like eggs and beef and chicken sometimes, but for the most part we're plant-based, right? And so if you're trying to sell us, I don't care how good the steak is. We don't eat red meat at all, and it's just a personal choice. It's not bad for you or anything. It's just us. It was our personal choice. But if you're trying to sell red meat, and I don't care if it is grass-fed, and I don't care that it came down from the heavens, and literally if you take a bite of this, it's going to solve every single ailment. It doesn't matter. My wife and I are plant-based. We have no interest in beef whatsoever. And there's nothing that you can tell us that is going to change our mind. And if you keep coming to us trying to sell us your beef, we're going to get frustrated, we're going to get annoyed, and we're going to block you. We're not going to have anything to do with you. Does that make any sense? Because you're trying to give us something that is not a problem for us. Does that make any sense? But now if you had a plant-based protein, right, that was sprouted and organically grown, then is a different story, right? Because my wife and I are always looking for things to keep our health at its best, especially the older that we get, and also to have good nutrition for our children, okay? And so, like I said, we're plant-based. So if you have a plant-based protein that meets that, and also, not only does it, cut down on our grocery bill, helps us to save money, now we're talking. Now you have something that is going to solve one of our problems, and it's also going to be an interest to us. Does that make sense? So when you're looking at your business, your product, and your opportunity, you need to first decide, who is it that I am going to help? Is it stay-at-home moms? Is it, people that are working in construction? Is it, people that work in ministry or whatever, right? Decide on, who you want to help. And now what problems are they having, right? Now, let's just say that you wanted to, to help people in your church, okay? Well, what is one of the biggest issues that people in church are having? They don't have any real money in order for them to give, right? They're always struggling, paycheck to paycheck, and they don't have anything. They can't work any more hours in order to get any type of income, right? And so now your business opportunity can be an answer to that problem. And so your job is what? Now that you know who you are serving, and now you know what problem that they have, your opportunity is the answer to that problem, and you need to bridge that gap. You need to show them how what they have is an option, not the only option, but is the option in order for them to solve the problem that they're having. Does that make any sense? And it's the same thing with the products, right? For instance, let's say you're selling omega-3 fatty acids, okay? Well, what do those things provide? Yes, it gives us the omega-3 fatty acids, and yes, those things are important, but why is that important? Well, it helps with inflammation. Well, if there's somebody that has inflammation, what are the things that they're going to be experiencing, right? Well, they're going to be experiencing stiffness of joints, aches and pains. They're going to be experiencing bloating, right? Especially around the midsection. Boom. Right? So now you have something that will solve somebody's problem that wants to get rid of all that stuff, right? Hey, have you been struggling with achy joints and stiffness? Have you been struggling with you just seem to be gaining more and more weight, especially around your waist, even though you are exercising and eating right? Well, I used to be that same way, and it wasn't until I learned that a lot of that has to do with inflammation, and the inflammation can simply be solved by getting some high quality omega-3 fatty acids. What is that? That's basically fish oils, and we have this and so on and so forth, right? And that's how you can bridge the gap between where their problem is, or what the problem is, and the product that you have. Does that make any sense? That is how you succeed in this business. Not by being super excited, not by having the best compensation plan, not by talking to the most people. It is about you approaching this business as a true business owner, as a true entrepreneur, which is solving other people's problems. It doesn't matter what company you're in, it doesn't matter what product you have. If that doesn't solve a need of the person that you are trying to market to, you could have the best thing in the world. Just like I said, I'm plant-based. I don't care how good your beef is. I'm not interested. And I don't care what you say or what you're going to bring at me or whatever statistics you're going to throw at me. I'm not interested. Does that make sense? But if you have something that your target market has a problem with and it can solve, that is where you are going to be successful. And that is your job, to take somebody who you want to serve, look at what problem that they have, and solve that problem through your business opportunity and your products. Are you getting that? Do you see where I'm going with that? So that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you got some value out of this. And as always, I'm going to talk to you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for listening. If you want to hear more of how the top income earners are actually building their network marketing business beyond their family and friends, please subscribe so you don't miss any of the secret hacks that I uncover.